Hi everyone, this is Frank Gambale coming to you from NAMM 2018, and you're watching for GuitarPlayersOnly.com.
Hi everyone, John Liebman here. You're watching for GuitarPlayersOnly.com. Coming to you today from the D'Addario booth at the 2018 NAMM show, Anaheim, California, with one of my all-time favorite guitar players. I can't believe I'm sitting next to him, Frank Gambale. Hello, Frank.
Hi, John. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine. I have been following you and your music since about 1985. That's when Chick first came out with the electric band, and you and my good buddy John Patitucci, Eric Marienthal, Dave Weckl, Chick Corea, and so that was, that's around the 1985, right?
Yeah, actually it was the summer of '86 that I joined the band, and then we traveled everywhere for at least 7 or 8 years, something like that.
Yes, and
it was pretty extensive.
I have been privileged to have witnessed several of those concerts, but I want to focus on you and your life and career. You're from Australia. So tell me about your initial exposure to music and how you became a guitar player.
Right. Well, I started very young. I had 2 older brothers. They were playing. I just wanted to be like them.
They were playing guitar?
Yeah, they both played guitar, and I was about 7, and they were into Hendrix and Clapton and all that stuff that was happening in the mid to late 60s, and I just took to it like a bee to honey. And I've been serious about guitar my whole life. In fact, I started so young I don't even remember learning. But I got a lot of great exposure through having older brothers that were, hipper, and they were finding music that I would never have found as a young kid.
But they're not hipper than you now.
Well, they didn't stick with it because they were older. Their disadvantage was they got more interested in girls and football and all that stuff, and I was too young for all that, so I kept playing the guitar, which worked out well.
Usually when somebody is surrounded by a bunch of guitar players, they are relegated to playing bass, which doesn't seem to be the case in your situation.
Well, my oldest brother ended up being the bass player, so we played together for years in all the groups I was in Australia before I left. And then when I was about 22, my sights were set on America. I said, I got to go over there,
Where did you go?
I came right to L.A., and this is where I've been ever since, 35 years in L.A.
Did you know anybody here, or did you just go for it?
Not a soul.
So breaking into the L.A. music scene is no easy feat. How did that happen for you?
Well, I never really thought about that. I wasn't thinking about where it was going to lead to. All I was focusing on, and I tell this to a lot of people, young musicians, is I focused on being a great musician. I always believe that if you're really good at something, people are going to come to you because they need, Chick Corea, when I auditioned for Chick, he needed a good guitar player, and I felt like I was if you're a good guitar player, you fit the bill, So it's important to be the best musician you can be, and that's what I focused on. And, and then I put some groups together and I started playing around locally. I had 2 albums out when I met Chick. So I was already well on my way to doing what I was going to do, I have 20 solo albums. People talk about me and Chick Corea like we're synonymous. I love Chick, and he's been a huge part of my career, but I have a huge body of my own work, which is more important to me.
Well, let's talk about that then. I think it's easy enough to find information about Chick Corea. That's readily available, but we've got Frank Gambale here in person. So give us some of the highlights, some of the things that you've done that stand out, or maybe something you're particularly proud of.
Well, I'm proud of all my records. I've done some 20 solo records, and I worked with another group called Vital Information with Steve Smith and Tom Coster from Santana's group, and Baron Brown was the bass player. We did maybe 20 albums, and I was one of the main writers for that band. And I also did 3 very powerful records with Steve Smith and Stu Ham called the GHS, Gambale Ham Smith project. So there were 3... Actually, there's 4 now because there's a best-of version. But those were some of the best records I ever made, and along with my solo records. Proud of all those. I've also done 2 or 3 of the most widely bought instructional guitar videos in the day: Chop Builder, Modes No More Mystery, and my sweep picking video called Monster Licks and Sweep Picking.
And those are published by...
They were Warner Brothers in the day, and they saw their people come to me all the time, and go, "Oh man, that changed my life." You know, I didn't know anything about modes until I saw that. Now I understand. You know, and now I have an online guitar school, Frank Gambale OnlineGuitarSchool.com, where I have a brilliant forum to offer some incredible courses that I've written. I was head of the guitar department at LA Music Academy, which was a boutique school.
When was that?
That was probably the late 90s. For about 10 years I was involved with that school, and I wrote all the curriculum for the program. It was a one-year program.
Was Jerry, what's his name, the head of the bass department there, Jerry?
Watts.
Yes, I've interviewed him multiple times.
Yeah, he's there. And Ralph Humphrey and Joe Picaro ran the drum section.
Yeah, Tim Landers.
And so... So I'm developing, I'm turning all those courses that I wrote into online video streaming courses, and the school's doing well. I have a new group now called Soulmine, which I really am excited about. We did a record. It's kind of vocal music. It's like jazz-influenced pop, I guess you would call it, or adult contemporary. And so now... we just finished a second record, and I'm excited. We just signed with a new label that's had some other great success with guitar players in this kind of genre. It's all singing, and my wife sings, and we write the songs together. And I'm singing on this one too. I'm back to my singing roots, which was stuff I used to sing in all the groups I was in Australia. Either the lead singer or one of the main singers, you know. And
I bet a lot of people don't know that about you.
Well, if my true fans would, because I've sung from my first album, my first solo album, all right through to, about the first 6 records I did had songs on them, actual songs. So it's been there. People go, "Oh, you're singing now." Well, I've always sung. And for the real diehard fans who have really dug all the tunes and got deep into the albums, know that I've sung before and want me to sing, actually. A lot of people like it. So anyway, so I'm back to that. And the group has vocal harmonies. I'm very excited about the next release. Should be later this year in 2018. And so lots happening. I'm having a good time here.
You did a tour last year that must have been very special for you, the original Electric Band. I told you yesterday when we were talking, I saw that tour in 1990, and the last thing in the world I was expecting was what you opened up with, which was Hymn of the Seventh Galaxy and all the Return to Forever stuff, which blew me away. But tell me about getting back together with the original guys, with Dave Weckl, Eric Marienthal, John Patitucci, Chick. What was that like?
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. We had a fantastic, and one thing that really blew me away was, people think, well, how big an audience can you have for jazz or fusion? And we were selling out giant, just, big sheds, and even we played a stadium in in Serbia or somewhere like that. It's a stadium.
You were touring with Bela Fleck and the Flecktones.
Well, that was the U.S. only, but in Europe we were I couldn't believe it. We were like Sting or U2. It was amazing for a fusion group. That's outstanding. We sold out the Barbican in London. That's a fantastic venue. And I couldn't have been happier. And the guys playing the music was like riding a bike. It was instantly great and better than it was before.
Was it all the old tunes, or was there any new stuff?
Well, we have a pretty big body of work.
Did you play Gotta Match?
Of course, if we don't, we get stones thrown at us. We played all our classics, and it was great.
You bring up a point, though. It's often said that the Europeans and the Asians have a deeper appreciation for music, or maybe a deeper appreciation for jazz, than the U.S. fans. Is there anything to be said about that?
No. I used to think that, but now I don't really think that. I think the U.S. has a terrific audience for what we do. We just did that tour last summer with was the Electric Band plus Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, and we played incredible size audiences, and people were thrilled at the show. And so, the reaction was just as good here as it was anywhere else. Absolutely, there's still life for this kind of music. And I'm happy, I was gratified to see that, actually. It's not all just whatever the trend is, There's still a very good, healthy, and adoring fans out there that want to hear what we do. Which is great.
It's great to reconvene the original lineup. A few years back, I saw Chick with Stanley Clarke, Lenny White, and Al Di Meola, which was also very special. Getting back the original lineup for both of those groups. Tell me about your gear.
Well, I've been endorsing and working with DV Mark, an Italian amplifier company, for the last 4 or 5 years now.
Riccardo and Sebo.
And Sebo, yeah, but the main guy is Marco De Virgilis. The DV is Marco De Virgilis.
Okay.
And Marco is a terrific guy, and his company is really innovative. They have like 4 products for me now. We have a beautiful 212 speaker cab with the neodymium. They don't use magnets anymore. And the speakers are light as can be. You wouldn't believe it.
Wow.
And I have a multi-amp FG, which is a 2-space rack mount or whatever. It's an amplifier, preamp, and multi-effects. Has some 90 effects, and it sounds amazing. And it's all in one box. I love it. It's easy to carry around. I used that with Chick on the last couple of tours. And we have a little 112 combo, which is screaming. And we have a new product we just released at this NAMM. It's a little tiny amp. It's called the Little FG. The Little FG.
What kind of guitar are you playing?
I designed a beautiful acoustic guitar for Court, which is called the Gambale Lux. And that's been out for about 2 years now. That's doing well. And I have a beautiful guitar model with Carvin Kiesel called the FG1, which is... And we're starting to develop a second model now because we want to just have something else, a solid body. So.
Okay, and we are sitting at the D'Addario booth. You play D'Addario strings, I assume, I hope? Tell me why you like D'Addario strings.
Well, I've been with D'Addario for 30-something years now, so that says it all for me. They're a wonderful company. They make, I consider, the best strings out there. They were one of the first companies to do the stainless steel strings, and I'm a huge fan of the stainless steel electric guitar strings. They just never die. They just stay bright, and I was hooked from the time they released those strings. It must be 20 years now that they've been on the market. But they supply all my bits and pieces that I need. They're a great company because they make strings, straps, tuners, picks, all the peripheral stuff, and it's a wonderful company. And I've been supportive of them just as much as they've been supportive of me. So it's been a very symbiotic relationship. As with all the companies that I endorse, I usually have long-term relationships.
Any effects?
Well, my TV Mark box has some 90 effects built in, so I don't really need the stomp boxes right now.
There you go. How about the future, Frank? You've done so much already. You still are young. You have a lot of energy, a lot of notes left in you. What else would you like to do that you haven't accomplished yet?
Well, I want a Grammy under my own name. That's one of my targets. My next record, the next Soulmine record, I think has absolute potential to do that. With this new label that we're very excited about, has great reach, and they've had very big successful artists on their label, and the label owner just loves the record. And so we have a lot of potential with this next record. I want to play my music to the same kind of audiences that I was doing with Chick. I want that to be my audience too. So that's my I'm putting it out there in the universe. And although I do some great gigs with my band already, I just want to ramp it up, and I want to have a successful record with this one. And my online school, I'm putting pedal to the metal for that. That's been growing really rapidly, but it's all based on content. I have to provide content, but I'm really happy to have a forum that goes direct to public. No middleman, teaching music is exactly as I see fit, and offering courses that I don't see anywhere else, which is on subject matter that I really want to help guitar players become better musicians. Einstein said that if you can't explain something simply, then you don't understand it well enough yourself. I live by that quote because I do my best, and for years I've been teaching. I've found ways that get in quickly and with conceptually simple things in complex structures. So that's there's Dweezil Zappa. I'll talk to you after, man.
We did an interview with Dweezil on For Guitar Players Only. Check it out.
Yeah. So, the online school has been a wonderful business, and we're really, it reaches the whole planet. I can't believe how big the reach is. So, more music, more playing, more touring. I love music. It's what I do. I love the guitar in particular. And I want to, keep guitar music alive, man.
Keep doing it. Last question, Frank. If you can imagine, what would you be if you weren't a guitar player? Something outside of music.
Oh, well, I always had a big interest in chemistry when I was in high school, and I could have gone that way too because I was fascinated. I had a great teacher who was really showing me a lot of interesting things about hydrocarbons and atomic structures and that kind of stuff. I would have gone.
Were you the kid that liked to blow things up in lab?
No, I didn't. I didn't blow things up, but I had a lot of fun experimenting. It was really great to understand the chemical equations for everyday things, and I would have gone into research of some sort, I reckon.
Interesting.
I love being on the cutting edge of whatever it is.
You're a deep thinker. Well, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. Frank Gambale, much luck, continued success to you. Keep us up to date on anything and everything you have coming up, and we'll share it with our audience here.
I appreciate it, John. Thank you.
On location at the D'Addario booth at the 2018 NAMM Show, Anaheim, California, with our very, very special guest, Mr. Frank Gambale. I'm John Liebman. You're watching ForGuitarPlayersOnly.com.